Here we are once again in the 2025 Kia K4, but this time I have the GT line Turbo. Let's get into why this is probably one of my favorite compact sedans right now. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Sparkplug TV. My name is Chris and I do car reviews for literally everybody, not just car enthusiasts. And before I begin today's video, as always, please do me the biggest favor ever and like this video, comment something down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video, which is whenever I can. So thank you so much for your support. Now, this obviously is the Kia Forte replacement. I did a video on this, gosh, 6 to 7 months ago, maybe even a year ago at this point, on the EX, which is the trim right below the GT line. This comes in 5 different trim levels starting around $22,000 to $23,000. This is the top of the line GT line Turbo that comes in around $29,000 to $31,000. This one is stickered at around $31,000 because it has a technology package. So what makes this different from the GT line? Well, it's in the name. It's the Turbo. It's turbocharged. There we go, video's over. So it comes with a turbocharged 1.6 liter inline 4-cylinder engine as opposed to the 2-liter naturally aspirated one. This one outputs a much higher output than the base engine of 190 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of total torque. Zippy. The Kia Forte GT actually had 201 horsepower, but Kia said that they knocked off a couple horsepower for fuel economy. This one has fuel economy of about like 26 to 28 in the city and around 32 on the highway, which is not nearly as good as the base engine, but still pretty good for a compact sedan. It's not the fastest thing on the planet. It has a 0 to 60 mile an hour of, according to Car and Driver, 7.3 seconds. But if you remember my other K4 video, that thing was slow as all get out. But the engine is not the only thing you get in the GT line Turbo. Oh no! You also get a much better multi-link rear suspension instead of the torsion bar one. You also get an 8-speed automatic transmission instead of the IVT, and that's all you get for the more mechanical. But from a body, exterior, and features standpoint, what you do get from that is you get totally different body cladding that starts in the GT line and is the same thing for the Turbo. Now, the GT line and the GT line Turbo both have 18-inch wheels. The only difference is that this one has, in my opinion, nicer black 18-inch wheels. But what really differentiates the GT line Turbo is the squared off LED high beams, and you also get LED fog lamps for this as well. I'm pretty sure they don't do anything other than just like make it look cooler, and they do look cool, and they're automatic. I mean, slay, cool, whatever, works for me, I guess. And it also sounds cooler. I mean, the engine sounds good. In terms of handling, it's not totally flat, and it's not the most exciting handling, but I honestly don't remember what the handling was like in the other one. And you know, for how low to the ground this is, I do kind of wish it was a little bit flatter in the handling, but I think for a daily driver, this is absolutely fine. I think the only qualm that I have with this in terms of drivability and daily use is that it is a little bit louder on the highway. With my Apple Watch, it does have a decibel meter, and it oftentimes tells me that I'm being too loud, which rude. It says that on the highway it does about 70 decibels, which isn't terrible, and it's definitely not loud according to Apple, but it's louder than the Buick Envista I had last week. But speaking of the Buick Envista that I had last week, in comparison to this, when I tell you I was so shocked by how many features come with this in comparison to the Buick Envista that costs $1,000 more. Now, what I mean by that is this is the top of the line, right? It also has the $2,400 technology package. And what you get with that is innumerable. With the technology package, you get ambient lighting. Buick did not have that. Memory seating. Buick did not have that either. You also have like an entry and exit seat when you open the door as heated and cooled seats. Buick had heated seats. Not to say that they're in the same segment by any means, But I just had that, right? And in comparison to this from a price standpoint, I mean, wow. At the end of the day, these are both econo cars, because in the automotive industry, like, there was that article that everybody knows about that said that the average price of a car in America is $50,000. And so these are considered econo cars at this point. I think that's what they share in common. And the fact that you get that, plus it has this has a 360-degree camera. It has blind spot monitoring cameras, paddle shifters, and you know what? The materials are even not that bad. Like, this plastic is really fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And even like the harder plastics are actually really nice. The seats are comfortable. It's got a dual zone automatic climate control system. Of course, it's got some issues, right? The transmission isn't the best at downshifting, especially in sport mode. You can do the downshifting with the paddle shifters and make it kind of your own, but from an automatic standpoint, like, it sometimes doesn't always want to shift. And if it's supposed to be the turbo, you'd think that the 8-speed would be a little bit more apt to do that. Anyway, the other thing is that in sport mode, it does change the steering to be a little bit firmer, but it's all augmented. It really doesn't make any more connectivity to the road. Like, it still feels very, like, numb. And again, engine's not the fastest, but I don't mind. It's much faster than the last one. It also has a Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds incredible. Like, I am astounded that this thing is considered, or is a standard car. And for how cheap it is. $31K, and you get so much stuff with this. It's roomy in here. These are different seats from the base model and like even up into the EX. It's got two 12.3-inch screens and a 5-inch screen as well for the HVAC controls. The standard models even come with a 12.3-inch infotainment screen, but they come with a less fully digital gauge cluster. It's still digital to some extent, but not nearly as like fully digital as this one. The only issue I have with this screen setup, albeit nice, is the fact that the HVAC controls are blocked by the steering wheel. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not. But because it's an automatic climate control system, I like that enough anyway. I don't really need anything else. Okay, let's get into final thoughts. Honestly, I'm not gonna take too long because this thing rocks. I am such a for a cheap car that has so many features like this does. I mean, I don't give a that this thing is a little bit louder on the highway. I don't care. And I also don't really care that it's not the best at handling either, even though it does have an upgraded suspension system. Take with that what you will, but for me personally, $31K for all of this? Now, the only thing is that this doesn't have an automatic rear view dimming mirror, but that's a $350 option on the website. Anyway, like when you build it. I would definitely add that if I was building this myself. Everything, it's so cool inside and out. I love this steering wheel. I have nothing else to say other than like, yes, absolutely I would buy this. 100%. You see these K4s everywhere, which to me signals that people want cheaper cars and they will buy a sedan if it's cheap enough. And that's what this is. Now, not cheap in the negative sense, because there's nothing cheap about this, but cheap in the sense that like, you really only have like a $300 car payment a month. Sold. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video. Thank you so much for your support. And I'm gonna go make TikToks about this now. Bye-bye. Hey Sparks, thanks for watching today's video. Do you want more Sparkplug TV content? Then you can choose one of these 3 options right over here. The middle button is to subscribe to my channel, so please do that. Right over here. These 3. I can't see them in real life, but they're right here.